If you guys enjoy what I do, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe. It really helps the channel and it's free and easy to do. Welcome to my channel where we cover the lore of Final Fantasy XIV. We cover the stories both big and small, the epic and the cute, the silly and the tragic. I hope you all enjoy the ride, and welcome to the Chronicler of Lore. After doing a bit of thinking, Round Rocks, after realizing that the glowstone is the thing that Midas has been searching for this entire time, decides to give it to the Al Ra, and since there aren't many people who could take it from the Warrior of Light, the Goblin gives it to him so he can give it to Midas. The treasure hunter is usually staring at Alexander from nearby, so it isn't hard to track her down. Midas is flattered that the Goblin is willing to give away her most precious possession, and at first she wasn't gonna accept it, but she decides that it would be better in the hands of someone who could actually keep it safe. Round Rocks isn't exactly what you'd call a fighter, so Midas decides to hold on to it, even though to her, the piece of the Enigma Codex is nothing more than any other rock. When Round Rocks held it, the stone had let out a flash of light, but that hadn't happened when anyone else touched it, not even the Warrior of Light. The Codex is protected by magic that keeps it from being read by anyone who doesn't believe in what it says down to their very core. It's very rare to find a person that can actually read it, which means if the Illuminati find out that Round Rocks can, they'll take her. Midas figures that the best way to keep Round Rocks safe would be for her to lure the Illuminati away with the piece of the Codex that they want so much. They'll be hunting for her, and won't be thinking about Round Rocks, but Midas still wants you to watch out for the little goblin just in case while she's away. Backrix comes to get you, because apparently something's been bothering Wedge, so you head back to camp to see what's bothering the Lalafell. Apparently, the Illuminati are getting ready to do something big, because Y'shtola sent a message saying that Alexander's starting to draw a lot more ether from the area. Not to mention the fact that the goblins are gathering a lot of explosives and other stuff, likely to build another big weapon. In short, things are pretty bad, so you all need to attack them before they can finish, and Wedge already has a plan, one that of course has the Warrior of Light leading the assault. Biggs has already scouted out the area that he wants to attack from, so you and Wedge head there to get things started. Biggs was expecting Sid to show up, but he hadn't thought that Y'shtola would come too. Since the ether is being drained at a super high rate, she obviously needed to be there to help. From what she can see, Alexander has absorbed a whole lot of ether already, but there's a different kind of energy coming from inside of the barrier. Figuring out what this new energy is will have to wait. For now, whatever the Illuminati are doing needs to be stopped before they can get it fully started, and Wedge has built a device that should help with that. He calls it the Electro Jammer No. 3, which is weird since it's apparently the first of its kind. If it works the way that he says it will, it should disrupt all of the Illuminati's communication devices, making it a lot harder for them to organize a defense when you all attack. The device has a little more kick to it than everyone expected, and the explosion that it makes either causes Alexander to lift its other hand, or it was about to do that anyway, and Wedge's timing was just a coincidence. Either way, Wedge refuses to take the blame for the primal moving. The good news, according to Y'shtola, the primal is still asleep. Even better, it moving created a new way for you all to head inside, which means it's time for the Warrior of Light to do his thing. While he does that, Sid and Y'shtola are going to go and tell Matoya what just happened. While you all get ready to make your move, Quick Thinks All Thoughts watches from above saying that everything is playing out exactly how it was written. The Illuminati weren't all that unprepared for your attack, and apparently their experiments don't stop at modifying just machines. One of the goblins who manages to take the title of best named goblin in the game, Ratfinks Twinkledinks, has done quite a few modifications to himself that makes him very not fun to fight. But the Warrior of Light and his crew of adventurers bring down the goblin and his minions. With the attack being a success, the Warrior of Light meets back up with Biggs and Wedge at the base camp, only for them to let him know that there's another problem. While they were patrolling the area, they saw Midas talking to the Illuminati. Not only that, she gave them the piece of the Enigma Codex before going into Alexander with them. It all looks really bad, but it starts to look a lot less like Midas actually a traitor when Quick Think shows up to the camp talking about how your new friend had been working with them from the very beginning. Him trying so hard to convince you that Mide's a traitor does the exact opposite, but after the Illuminati leave, Backrix says that there is some truth to what the goblin said. Backrix had looked into what had happened 3 years ago and found out that a group of Al Ra treasure hunters had gone to explore the ruins near the Thaliac River only to die during the earthquakes that had come as a part of Alexander's first summoning. It's likely that Mide was one of those treasure hunters, but that doesn't necessarily mean that she had something to do with the summoning. Except for the fact that Backrix did some reading from a book that he got from a Charlian, and it said that the person who had written the Enigma Codex 100 years ago was a blue-haired Zayla just like Mide. She can't be the only blue-haired Zayla out there, and instead of speculating, Round Rocks runs off to find the woman to get answers straight from her. Wedge chases after the goblin to keep her safe, while the Warrior of Light continues his attack on the Illuminati, so it's back into Alexander we go. The goblins are definitely ready for your next attack, and they've put together a much more deadly defense, but that doesn't stop the Warrior of Light and his crew. When he makes it back to the camp after the battle, Mide is there, and she admits that she did meet up with the Illuminati, but what she gave them was just a rock that she found, not the Codex. But Quick Thinks hadn't been lying about what he said. Mide had not only been working with the Illuminati, she had taught them how to summon the Primal in the first place. She had planned on using them to complete her own goal, the same way she was planning on using all of you. The author of the Enigma Codex had been an ancestor of hers, and the goal of creating a perfect world had been a mission for some of her tribe for years. They had worked in secret to bring it about, and those ideals in some corrupted fashion have taken over the Illuminati. The leader of Mide's group had been very charismatic, and Mide had fallen in love with him, which made her even more eager to make his dream come true. That's why she didn't hesitate when he wanted to summon a Primal, and 3 years ago they had tried to do it. The summoning went horribly wrong. Alexander killed most of Mide's friends and dragged the man she loved into the core of the machine. Not knowing what else to do, Mide made the barrier to seal Alexander away, but while she was doing that, the Codex exploded and the Primal disappeared. One of the pieces cut her across the face, which is how she got that scar, and that moment showed her just how stupid their plan had been. It only took the loss of all of her friends for her to learn that lesson, but it still doesn't explain why she decided to help the Illuminati summon the thing again, or help you all get inside of it for that matter. Her reasons are simple and kind of insane. She did it all because she hopes it will let her see the man she loves again. She thinks his soul is still inside of the Primal. Telling her how dumb her plan was is not the best idea, so Biggs decides to find out just how bad things would get if the Codex was made whole. If the Codex is repaired, it would in fact be able to completely control the Primal, but you need the complete Codex and someone who can read it. With both of those, Alexander could instantly take anyone to wherever they wanted to go, likely draining the life out of the place in the process. Mide used to be able to read the Codex, but since that day 3 years ago, she's lost the ability. Only Round Rocks has the gift as far as she knows, meaning that the child is the key to controlling the Primal. And right on cue, Wedge runs up to say that the little goblin's been taken by the Illuminati. With Round Rocks being captured, the Warrior of Light and his allies race back into Alexander to find her. Quick Thinks decides to deal with you himself, and he uses a lot of tech to do it, but he's still no match for you. So he tries to fly away, but his damaged machine explodes. It's highly unlikely that he didn't survive, and there's still a lot more stuff you have to fight your way through to free the goblin, so you all head back to camp to get more supplies for the next fight. While you fought Quick Thinks, Mide mapped out the rest of Alexander's interior, so she knows where you need to go, but Backrix doesn't trust the woman. Since she was involved with the original summoning of Alexander, Backrix doesn't know if she's trying to help you all or simply finish her own mission. The goblin has a point, and Mide understands why some of you might not fully trust her, but even though she's the last of her group, the whole Build a Perfect World mission was never really her dream. She was willing to put that same amount of effort into any cause, as long as she was able to do it with the people she cared about. She honestly can't understand why she had ever been able to read the Enigma Codex in the first place, since she wasn't all that dedicated to its teachings. In short, the dream of a perfect world died with her leader. As for Alexander, the part you've been exploring is called Midas, named after an ancient king who had asked the gods for the power to turn whatever he touched into gold. They gave him what he asked for, and he liked it until he accidentally turned the woman he loved into a statue. What he wanted the most ended up costing him everything. That same story can be applied to Mide and her people. The hunt for what they wanted most ended up costing them everything. Now all she wants is to talk to the man she loved just one more time, nothing else. Now that she's told you all her goal, she wants to get back to the important mission of saving Round Rocks, and she has a plan. Alexander has 3 main sections, each with their own core. The Warrior of Light has cleared a path to the core of Midas, but the Illuminati definitely have set up a strong defense to keep you from destroying it. Round Rocks is most likely being kept in Alexander's upper body, but the Illuminati have the path there locked, so you have to destroy the core to shut down the primal. If you break the primal, the Illuminati will have to fix it before they can use Round Rocks, which will give you all more time to save her, especially since they'll probably have to gather more crystals to get the primal back up and running. With the plan made, it's time to get back into the primal and fight the Illuminati. They have indeed put together a powerful set of machines to bar your path, but the Warrior of Light and his adventurer allies take them down, clearing a path to the core. Like before, Midas shuts it down, only for Quickthinks and a lot of goblins to show up. Wedge taunts him for not fighting you alone again since he lost the last time, but Quickthinks claims that he lost on purpose, just like he let you shut down the core on purpose. Because according to him, he knows the future, and he knows that one of you have the piece of the Enigma Codex that he wants. Biggs and Wedge both pretend to have it, while the Warrior of Light and Midas hop on the elevator to escape with the Codex. But proving that he might actually know a bit about the future, Quickthinks parks his hover platform in the perfect spot for it to fall into his lap when your platform lurches and makes the Enigma Codex fall right out of Midas' pocket. With what he wanted in hand, the Illuminati leave you all to ponder just how Quickthinks got the better of you all, and now you have to figure out how to get the Codex and Round Rocks back. Back at the camp, things get even more strange. Backrix is confused about why you're all back so soon. He just saw you all leave a few moments ago, and you shouldn't have had time to even reach Alexander, let alone do all of the stuff you claimed. And he's not the only one that's confused. Everyone outside of Alexander says that you all just left a moment ago. It's almost like time stopped when you stepped through the barrier around the primal. And if that's the case, Quickthinks seeing into the future might not be all that crazy. Midas thinks that there may be a simpler explanation, at least when it comes to how Quickthinks predicted your moves. There's a machine inside of Alexander that's made to do very complicated math problems, and using it to determine the probability of something happening isn't that far-fetched. But that only worked for simple events. It actually makes a lot more sense that there are some time shenanigans going on. For now, it's all only a theory, but Wedge thinks that it's possible that Alexander has distorted time inside of the barrier, and it's possible that the Illuminati know that and they're using it to their advantage. They may even be using the primal to somehow bend time to their will. If they're doing that, then your mission was destined to fail from the very beginning. The doom and gloom speculation starts to bother Biggs, and he decides that it might be a good idea to call Sid and see what he thinks might be going on. It's hard to explain over a link pearl, so Sid and Ishtola head back to the camp to chat. Before anyone can fill them in, Alexander causes the land to shake, so you all race off to see what the primal's doing. From what Ishtola can see, without its core, the primal is starting to break down, but it's doing it very slowly. Using her goggles, Sid sees something even stranger. The ether that was leaking out of the damaged primal started flowing in reverse, like time started passing backwards, something that should be impossible. But since none of you know much about the primal, there's no telling what it can actually do. And to make matters worse, it could be undoing everything you did to shut down the cores. If the Illuminati can simply reset your progress on a whim, beating them will be all but impossible. And to make matters even worse, with Round Rocks in hand and the final piece of the Codex, Quickthinks and the Illuminati gain full control of Alexander. All that's left is for them to wait for the final core to power up. Then they'll be able to unleash Alexander's full potential. That won't just give them the power to remake the world as it currently is. They'll have control over time, and that'll give them the ability to rewrite history itself. This concludes the story of the second part of Alexander, Midas. If you enjoyed this video, hit the like button, subscribe, share the video, and donate so I can keep bringing you guys new content. Until next time, guys. Later.